This is where I send all my light and all my love to Lori Ladd because she put up a video a little while ago that I was supposed to watch. And it's sort of a reminder of things that I've tried to emphasize the importance of throughout all the videos that I've done. So this is in some ways going to be review, but particularly now and coming up with Trump's election, and when you sort of come together what I call full circle, which is full circle of light, the importance of a couple major factors that are important to, at least in my mind, consider. Because it's the nature of the way that, because of how I experience who I am in living spirit, in my state of consciousness, how I've learned how this works. Okay? And so it's really more of a self-reinforcement of some other things that I'm simply putting emphasis on. And this goes back to being the author of your own story, okay? And what it means to have your own individual timeline. So imagine you're a single soul, okay, in which you are eternal living spirit. The nature of your soul is eternal. You come into a planet. You come into a physical body and you begin to experience this realm. Okay? So even though we are not alone in the entire cosmos, okay, we are a single unit of consciousness that is experiencing this realm. Okay? So how we experience this realm as a single unit of consciousness is represented of our own timeline. Okay? So we know, therefore, when we go to elementary school and we have a lot of other little boys and girls around us, logic will inform us that every other little boy and girl that's in that classroom has a different mother and father, which means that that child's experiences are going to be different than ours because we have a different mother and father. Some of us have older brothers and sisters. Some of us are the firstborn, which means all of our experiences as a single unit of consciousness in our family is not going to be the same as another unit of consciousness in their family on that neighborhood or in that neighborhood, which means or that community or that county or that state or that nation. Now that you sort of scale that up from a nation to another nation to another nation, from one star system to another star system to another star system. Now you begin to add up all of the different units of consciousness that represent all of the life that is possible, in which they experience who they are as a result of what they are experiencing, which is not going to be the same as something else. Okay? That means that their experiences from one frame rate in a holographic universe to the next is not going to be the same as somebody who's in another star system and another planet ship that represents a different kind of being. So the obvious example of this is that a bear does not experience itself as a bear the same way that an eagle does. An eagle is not going to experience itself as an eagle the same way that a dolphin does. And so on, and so on, and so on, and so on. Its experiences are all going to be different. But together they represent everything that is held within the light that is possible to experience between spirit and the matter, physical part of who we are that is experiencing who we are in spirit, that is in that light. Because it starts with light, which is what love is. That's why when I mentioned it before about forgiving others is the same as forgiving ourselves, because there isn't any separation between who you are and who I am that is in that light. So when I'm forgiving me, I'm forgiving you. Because we are both a reflection of who we both are that is in that light, that we are experiencing this planet together. So when I am forgiving you, I am forgiving me. Because I'm forgiving me in the same mirror that you are with yourself, with me. because we're sharing the same bidirectional echo chamber together of sound and light. That's why I've always said we can heal each other together through all that light, which is all that love that is in the mirror, the bidirectional echo chamber of sound and light in this planetship. And when we are anchored and grounded to the great living spirit of Mother Earth, we can heal all living spirit on this planet. That has always been the focus of my energy and my consciousness ever since I've been here. Is trying to heal this planet, to change the equation from draining light to being more of what the light is, to raise the frequency all across the planet, to shift the consciousness to a higher frequency density consciousness that frees ourselves from being held captive to something that is parasitic, that is draining all the electrons, that is harvesting the electrons off of the consciousness of humanity as a result of all the programming, of which is artificial intelligence, which is binary duality. Everything in nature is trinary, which is base 9, 3, 6, 9. It is not binary. Okay? Binary is artificial intelligence. And that is the single greatest threat to humanity. And we can measure that because we collected all the data that is represented by the input and the output side of all the toxic metadata that we produce as a result thereof. So one of the things that she was mentioning in her video a little while ago was about narratives. So if you see somebody on a YouTube channel, just like you see me, I have my timeline, you have your timeline. Okay? Because all of the cumulative experiences that you have had, for everybody that watches this video, everybody that's on a YouTube channel, everybody that's on a TV set, everybody that is communicating whatever they're communicating, what they're experiencing at any single moment of time, wherever they happen to be on the earth plane, is not going to be the same as what everybody else is experiencing unless they're experiencing the same frequency, which can be measured on the electromagnetic spectrum. So imagine that everybody is experiencing 528, a love frequency. Then everybody's in peace, love, and harmony with each other because we're all running a higher frequency, aren't we? So if we want to shift the consciousness up to where we're all experiencing what love is all across the planet, then imagine what happens. We're not experiencing anything that is feeding on our energy, that is lower than what that is. Because everybody already is experiencing what it feels like to experience a high-speed wave of energy that feels good to experience, where nobody's feeling any pain, any suffering. That's the shift. So when we talk about narratives and timelines, we're talking about one unit of consciousness that is experiencing what it's experiencing at any one given moment of time, which represents an event to the next event, to the next event, to the next event on their timeline. So when I'm experiencing what I am right now and sharing it with you, is information that I'm aware of that I am sharing with everybody else. It represents, if I looked at a clock, the tick and the talk that's going by as I'm doing this. So I realize that I'm sharing information for hopefully the benefit of everybody that happens to see it, how it is that we are all experiencing a different event from one to the next. What's most important is the frequency, the wave, the speed of the wave that we are experiencing from one event to the next. So if we are spinning our Merkaba and experiencing more of what love is, which is more of what light is, through the spin of the wheel in our heart that is connecting to the creative imagination that we have within us, then we are experiencing events that feel good to experience because now we're feeling more self-empowered and not held subject to what somebody else believes is going to happen. We're now in greater, although I don't like to use the word control, we are experiencing a higher speed frequency of energy that is in alignment with Source. When we are in alignment with Source, which is what love is, we are feeling the peace of mind and the love in our heart that frees us, that we know that we're not held captive to a lower frequency event. Because love is eternal light. So that we know that love being eternal light, there is no time. We're always forever. So we know we're not ever going to run out of what we're aware of, which is who we are in living spirit, because we're not the matter body. So when enough people acknowledge that truth in knowing who they are as that identity, which is the energy that we are experiencing together on the earth plane, then those units that are experiencing themselves, experiencing the higher frequency spin of that light in their heart wheel, which is spinning their Merkaba, which is their light spirit body, at a faster rate of speed than we are sharing together on the earth plane, more units of consciousness that are experiencing the eternal light that we are in living spirit, that is helping to assist the shift, because then more beings on the planet will begin experiencing more of our light. As they're experiencing more of our light, their frequency speed will go up, because they will begin to heal within their own heart. Their heart will in turn will begin to spin faster, which means their Merkaba will spin faster, which is another unit of consciousness that is now spinning at the same speed we are. That means that the exponential function of units of consciousness on the earth plane will be shifting together, because we are all experiencing higher frequency energy together, which means that we will be able to separate more of us from those that are choosing to experience what the fear is, instead of letting go and realizing what's happening, that it's okay. This is okay. She mentioned the word, this is all by design. It's meant to shift from the lower to the higher consciousness density that frees our mind from being held captive to the lower density experiences that were holding us captive. This is a natural process that takes place at a time in which the girl on the planet is shifting us as she's shifting herself, okay, on the earth plane to the higher frequency density of fifth density. So this means we are moving with her, and she's moving us with her. So we recognize the shifting process of the higher frequencies, which is why the changes are taking place the way that they are. That's why it's our responsibility as Star Trek navigators to share with those that everything is going to be okay. This is a natural process in which the universe has a cosmic order in which we shift and move and ascend. Okay? The cosmos loves us, and we know that through our heart, because that's what love is. Love is healing energy. When we're experiencing the higher energy, then we're shifting with the others that are helping to assist others in moving us into the higher density consciousness realms. So this is one of the reasons, like for instance, me, it's time for me, because of all of the lower density consciousness experiences that I've picked up, I want to be in a place where, how do I put this? It was like when I was on the Big Island, okay? It's not a coincidence why I end up where I end up doing the things that I do at the exact precise moment in which I do it, because I know my timeline and the things that I'm supposed to do on my timeline for the reasons I do them at that moment. So, for example, if I had a picture to show you of a picture I took when I absorbed all of the higher frequency energy that was coming up from the liquid magma, and then I went over to the east side of the island on the cliff there and then began broadcasting all that higher indigo color, and then I took a picture of it, and then you could see the reflection back of the energy I was projecting. Okay? So it's much in the same way that, given the time that we're on right now, this is not where I want to be, where I'm experiencing all the lower density consciousness energies, even though I know how to burn it off, in order for me to be more productive in the things that I do as a light worker, is to move into places where I know I can absorb more of her more powerful signals, more of her higher scalar frequency energies that I can absorb in me, and then I can go to other places and then push it out and push it out and push it out. So it's like being much in the way that repeaters work, if you will, when they set up the microwave towers back in the early 1970s, so a fire truck in San Diego could key a mic and speak to a fire truck in Northern California. So when he opens the mic, he's opening up the repeater, which is sitting on top of a mountain, so that that antenna can push that same signal of sound and light from that mountain to the next mountain with a repeater on it, to the next mountain that's got a repeater on it, to the next mountain that's got a repeater on it, because it means that that communication is traveling from one mountaintop to the next. Works the same way with me as a cosmic antenna, which means I'm absorbing all the higher frequency scalar energies in my energy field. Now I'm spinning my Merkaba like crazy and broadcasting it out throughout those areas that need that energy, which is why I'm choosing to go into an area where all those fires had burned through bear country and all those people that lost everything that they did over there. See how that works? So that's why I go to those places on the planet to pick guys' energies up to be a big cosmic antenna broadcaster. And that's how it works. That's why I've suggested so many times spending some time out in nature. Go spend some time with her. Heal your memories, heal your energy, and pick it up and absorb it up and bring it back into the house. One of the easiest ways, believe it or not, to clear bad energy in a house is a lemon. Whenever you're going to move into a new place, you're not sure who lived there before. Of course, you can use the numbers on the address of the house because that represents energy. But put a lemon in there, put it on the table before you move in, and then go check it in a day or two and see if it looks grayish, where it picked up and absorbed a lot of negative energy in there, negative current. Anyway, I felt this was important because she talked about narratives. A narrative simply means somebody who's expressing energy to you, or whatever it is that they're experiencing at the moment they're experiencing it. Anything that is related to anything that is lower frequency density consciousness, anything that is fear-based. Oh, this is going to happen. Oh, that's going to happen. When you listen to that on YouTube, you're recording that lower frequency into your DNA. Okay? That's one of the reasons why, in some case, I thought, just turn this phone off for the next few days, okay? Except that I know when I look at things that are negative, it's just like, get out of here. You know, it's like being unaffected by it because you just know better. Okay? They count on the fact that because so many beings on this planet have been subjected and experienced so much trauma, that when they produce any kind of a fear-based stimulus, it will trigger the PTSD event that's logged in that memory that reduces our energy and maintains a lower density consciousness timeline. The more that they can do that with more units of consciousness, because that's the battle that's going on right now, is trying to maintain as many batteries as they can on the planet that represent units of consciousness that are experiencing a lower frequency density consciousness experience. So that's why reading newspapers, reading mass media, and going to YouTube channels that represent negative or fear-based energy means that we are experiencing something that is lower in frequency than somebody who's coming on a YouTube channel where you can see dolphins swimming through the ocean, or you're seeing bears that are dancing in the woods, or things that put a smile on your face and raise your energy up, which is why we do Circle of Drums, to bring the spirit and celebrate our life with love with her. Okay? So this is a time in which we want to celebrate more love in our heart, more of the living spirit that is in us with everything else that is in living spirit. This is the time when the tribes and the clans come together to perform these kinds of spiritual rituals. It's because we understand what's happening and why it's happening when it's happening. This is a critical time. This is a critical time to keep the energy up. Okay? We're shifting. So naturally, we want to grab everybody all aboard. Okay? Anyway, I love you all. Take care of yourselves. We won this. Okay? Anyway, be good.